Hi, welcome back to Box of Delights. I just wanted to do a quick little filler episode here to give you a quick update on the Box of Delights game design Mentis. We've been looking to create this design since 2010 I think I started this. And finally, Nestor Games is looking to promote this game and publish it. And we've got a campaign running, and it's running from August 5th, so it started now, all the way through to September 10th. And as a special backers bonus, the game is reduced by 20%. I think it's about £20. And there's a single postage and package option, so you could order as many copies as you wish. Remember too that what I'm presenting to you here is a homemade wooden prototype that I just painted. Nestor Games make fabulous components. In our game we'll be looking at a pad for a board, nice soft pad. These will be 6mm laser engraved acrylic tiles, and it will all come in a nice cotton bag. So prototype Nestor Games components are fabulous. If you want to see some examples, just go and have a look at some of their other games. It's kind of a standard format that their games come out in. And also we have a little exclusive for the Nestor Booster backers, which is the wolf tile in honour of Box of Delights and our wolf logo. The artwork's not final. Nestor's going to sort this out before the game's final publication, assuming we can get enough backers. So if this doesn't get enough backers, this game won't become a reality, and we'll have to go back to the drawing board and start again. But I'm really hoping that you guys who've been watching and supporting the show over the last couple of years will show your support by backing this game and getting a little bit of Box of Delights history, our first game with the wolf exclusive. You've hopefully seen the tutorial and the example game I've given you. What I wanted to do in this episode was introduce you to this, just a little bit of fun really, this wolf exclusive for backers on Nestor Games, and just show you a little bit about how this works, and also give you a little bit of strategy, because it's always hard when you're picking up a game for the first time. It's always hard to know where to begin with it, particularly a two-player abstract where you can't just be driven by the theme. So I'm going to give you a little bit of a strategy guide in this video, but don't forget, going back, it's nestorbooster.com, and I'll leave a link in the description. Right, let's have a little look at this wolf that's being introduced by the Nestor Booster backers exclusive. Like other tiles, this guy's going to be deployed from your hand, but he can't form part of a stack. So that's rule number one. So other tiles, they get deployed in a stack. The wolf is a standalone. He's a lone wolf, right? And he can't even move across other tiles. He can only move one square per turn, but unlike other tiles, the wolf is going to move orthogonally or diagonally. The other thing is that the wolf can also attack diagonally. His range of attack is 1, like a noble. Okay, so like a spear, his movement is just 1. But like a noble, his attack range is 1. It's not part of the core game, so I wouldn't expect you to use this in your regular games. It's just really a fun variant for those folks who've backed us. But he can capture diagonally, and obviously that's going to be a huge threat to your opponent's king, that he can attack orthogonally or diagonally. What about some strategy then? This is the game board as presented to you when you start the game, and you've got a hand which contains all your tiles, and remember it's 9 units. You've got 3 trenchmen, you've got 3 nobles, and you've got 3 spears. These guys are probably equal in power. Maybe the spears are good because of their range, but nobles are certainly the most powerful. But let's think about what are good strategies. How should you be playing? What should you be doing? Like all two-player abstracts, there's going to be some analogies drawn to classics like chess, especially in this type of game. But this is a smaller board. Your pieces are right up against each other. Remember, you're kind of thrown right into the middle game, if you like. The first moves are attacking moves. So you've really got to keep your wits about you. You're not thinking about developing slowly, you're thinking about getting thrust right into the battle right from the off. The first thing to remember is that blue's always going first. Like in chess, when white always goes first, so you play blue, you play red, and you can alternate. So maybe best of 3, best of 5 games, something like that. You could offer 1 point for a win, half a point for a draw. Draws in this game normally come down to having all your tiles removed. That's very rare. I've not seen that happen in all the playtesting we've done. Maybe more commonly due to a repeat position, and likewise, you can both agree to a draw after a certain number of turns. But the thing to remember is that yes, there's a slight advantage to playing blue and going first. Because of blue's initiative, take a defensive stance playing red. Okay, you've got to think about what your opponent's doing, making sure you've got all the right pieces in a stack to defend against potential attacks. You've got to keep this pressure up. Remember, blue's got the initiative, he went first. Your primary aim when playing red is to remove that advantage and grab the initiative. If you can do this, then suddenly you've stolen blue's advantage. Blue's going to be probing and attacking. You need to put some positions in that's going to cause blue to lose some tempo. Force blue to retreat or block their progress so they have to remaneuver. It's a subtle strategy. So this defensive stance may involve attacking blue pieces, rather than pushing forward and attacking blue's king. If you can find that forcing move, which is going to make blue lose the tempo, then you can gain the initiative. And this is where you should concentrate your strategy playing red. Winning in this game is all about keeping the initiative. Once you win the initiative, the best way to keep it is to attack with forcing moves, making your opponent react to your play. The next tip is to control the middle ground. These are the important squares, these 9 squares here in the middle, in the centre of the board. In particular, these 3. And if we're looking at game notation, that's A, B, C, 1, 2, 3, 4, C4, D4, E4. Less so, but also important, are the same 3 columns on rows 3 and 5. Spear attacks can be launched from row 4 with their 3 range. Entrenchment can launch attacks on rows 3 and 5. Nobles stationed on rows 4 and 2 and 6 if you're playing red can keep these attacking pieces at bay. And that's why occupying these squares is more important than attacking these squares. If you occupy the central area, then your opponent can't, and they can't be launching attacks on your king. Try and occupy these squares with stacks rather than single pieces, and that makes them even more dangerous. Because if you lose a piece, you can counter-attack and you're still strong. You can control these squares from range. So think about controlling these in your opening moves, stopping your opponents moving into these central squares. Keep your nobles mobile. Sitting on top of a stack, they can move pieces around the board. In the bottom of the stack, the noble's not doing anything other than offering a defence should the bottom of the stack be revealed by opponent captures. Your nobles are the workhorses of the game. They're moving pieces into the action. So you can use them to carry your slow spears to where they're needed. But more importantly, trenchmen can only move 2 squares. How am I ever going to get this trenchman into this central position? Use your nobles. It's the only way to get your trenchmen into the right place. Don't get your nobles trapped in by stacks. Keep them mobile, keep them busy. Use their power of movement. Next, keep a strong defensive line. Keep your opponent at bay with a strong defensive line, and your opponent cannot move across it. Let a gap appear. Your opponent can move through it. A strong defensive line might force your opponent to move round to the flanks. When your opponent's trying to remaneuver, they're losing tempo. But don't forget your flanks. dangerous attacks can come from the flanks. These positions can arise out of nowhere when you've concentrated on these central columns and suddenly your opponent has snuck round the sides. Your mobile nobles should be able to cover these flanks. They're tight spaces and they can restrict your deployment. Do keep an eye on them. But remember too, while your opponent is concentrating attacks down the middle, you could be taking them by surprise and hitting them down their flank. Build a strong central defence and mobility on the flanks. Always think, is there an opportunity for me to counter-attack down these flanks? The next rule to think about is be cautious about exchanges. This noble can take this noble, this trenchman can then take this spear. But think about what that exchange will do for you. Does that exchange, although you may gain some material, does it open up your position too much? Be mindful about exchanges. Remember who's going to come the worse off. This piece takes this piece takes this piece takes this piece. So you've got to remember what's in each stack, what's going to get revealed. And when you're doing exchanges, who's going to come out ahead and what is it going to do to your position? Will it create a hole in your defensive line? Remember your king, he's stuck on this hill. Try and keep your king central. When he's in a central position, he's got 2 squares to flee to. When he's forced out to the flanks, he's only got 1 square to flee to. Okay, your options have been cut in half. Keep your king central for as long as you can and guard that central position. So if you can, he's got 2 places to flee to. You're making your life a lot easier. You've got less territory to defend. Finally, I'll give you the most useful piece of information, and that's the difficulty when you're confronted with this blank board. What do I do? How do I begin? Well, one rule of thumb is 3 to D. This is column D, and if you're playing blue or if you're playing red, placing 3 tiles in a stack in column D is always a good first move. Remember, you can deploy on each of your turns, you can move on each of your turns, but once you've got your pieces out, they're mobile. Now you could be moving, you could be concentrating on deploying all your pieces. It's entirely up to you, right? That's going to be your strategy and you're free to do that how you wish. But open up with 3 to D and play from there. Respond to what your opponent does. Well, that's it. That was Mentis. Hopefully those strategy points have given you a good feel for some of the things you can employ when you're playing this game and help you win. And don't forget, going back, get the wolf, have some fun with some diagonal movement. That's it for now. See you next time.